But on September 24th, when Libya's Colonel Muammar Gaddafi speaks right after President Barack Obama at the UN, American diplomats have already asked Gaddafi, and I'm not making this up, not to embarrass Mr. Obama or the other world leaders there. So now the Libyans are insisting Gaddafi won't pitch his tent in nearby Englewood, New Jersey, but a judge and the Libyan strongman's neighbor in Englewood are not taking any chances. We welcome Rabbi Shmuley Boteach. Did I say that right?
You got as close as one possibly can with a name like that.
All right, so what about
Boteach? I have to gurgle
Boteach.
a beer to say it properly.
Rabbi, thanks.
One right here.
Yeah, I want one.
Thanks for joining. Can we get to this?
Thank you for having me.
All right, so the issue is Gaddafi wanted to put a tent on his property. I guess it adjoins your property. Is that right?
Isn't that the craziest thing that Colonel Gaddafi is speaking after the leader of the free world? I mean, you'd think it would be the United Democratic Nations that they would have some sort of standards as to who they invite, but I have no choice. The Libyan mission to the United Nations bought the property adjacent to me a quarter of a century ago. It was derelict, and now they've poured millions of dollars for this one-week visit by Gaddafi, because it's good to be a dictator. You spend all this money on yourself. We in our neighborhood don't want him. We don't want a lover of terrorists, an international financier of terrorism. So we got together, did a big rally. Our governor came, our senator came, and we pushed him out, thank God, and we got this commitment from the Libyans and acknowledged by our State Department he won't be coming to Englewood. Now we want to clear the mission out of our neighborhood completely. You need to understand, every time one of my kids hits a baseball and goes over the fence, which by the way, they removed my fence and cut down my trees, it goes into Libyan territory with full diplomatic immunity. Can you imagine how crazy that is in a suburban New Jersey town?
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to the whole, we're so open here in the U.S. of A., whereas in other countries, you can't go and buy a home in these other countries.
Yeah.
You can't do anything, and yet we are so open, and it's frustrating where we're here for your own neighborhood. Don't you feel unsafe to have your kids running around here? I mean, I know they haven't been occupying the residence, but now they are.
Well, think about this. The reason they cut down the trees is so that his security personnel, and he travels with an army to protect him, can have a clear line of vision into our home in order to protect him. Now, look at me. He has nothing to worry about from me.
I got a little intimidated when you walked in that bar, dude. I got to tell you.
It's the beard. But I have a lot to fear from him. This is a man who just hugged Abdul al-Megrahi, the Lockerbie bomber, and he allowed him to kiss his hands. The bomber, the terrorist, kissed his hands on international TV. Well, we in Englewood told Gaddafi to kill the bold part of our New Jersey anatomy. We're not going to kiss anything of his. And he doesn't belong there. And I'll tell you, I've long had this motto, which I can still say because I'm still sober here, and that is that tolerating the intolerable is the liberalism of fools. Why do we tolerate this guy? What's he doing on our soil? Our soldiers are fighting and dying in Afghanistan and Iraq. And how do they interpret the leader of the free world, our president, welcoming Gaddafi, who just gave a Mardi Gras-style party for a convicted terrorist? It doesn't make sense. We fight them there, but we give them the red carpet treatment here. It doesn't make sense, and it undermines our moral credibility before the world.
And don't forget, 39 New Jersey residents died in that bombing, right?
180 Americans. And what about the bombing in 1986 at the Berlin discotheque, which was aimed only at our troops?
Yeah, and I think 58 New Yorkers. Rabbi, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Now do I get the beer, or?
Sure. It's $10.
If you're buying, man, if you're buying.
Although it is $10.
The generosity of a rabbi, of course I'm